it's trash day. It's gonna be a little noisy in the stream. Just a little bit. Good morning, Cyber. I'm back on apple juice instead of the orange juice that I was using for a little while. Good morning, Darius. Good morning, Eamon. This shirt makes my head look big. So something that I was working on pretty late last night was trying to come up with these chords. So the chords in that arrangement, I'm trying to space them out to make them a little bit more ambiguous because for the most part, hello King Cake and good morning. For the most part in my songs, I'm kind of just playing straight chords. Straight chord there, straight chord there, straight chord there. And when I mean straight chords, I mean the chords aren't like inverted or played in any weird fashion. They're kind of just played, they're played very simply and straightforward. So that's like one way to play this chord. Another way to play this chord would be, and another way to play this chord would be. And sometimes I like mixing up chords, like taking a note, like taking this note up here and moving it down here, or taking this note here and moving it down here, and that's a way to get from this chord to this chord, which is the same chord, same notes, they're just kind of rearranged a little bit. So, how do I want to say this? Note-wise, these two chords and are the same, and I hope that you can even kind of, as I'm playing them here, that they're the same chord and the same bass note. But tonally, I don't know if I'm using the word tonally correctly here, but tonally, to me, or the mood is a little bit different. This feels a little bit more brighter, and this feels a little bit more dissonant and mixed up. So when I'm playing melody, usually I will play just straightforward chords. Straightforward being not so mixed up or anything, because a lot of times those jumbled chords are harder to play with one hand, and two, they're just more complicated to play anyway, no matter how many hands you're using. So if a lot of my focus is up here, playing melodies, I usually don't play too many jumbled chords. But for this chord progression, I want to take some of these chords and kind of space them out a little bit and make them a little bit more ambiguous. So instead of playing that chord, I thought about spacing that one out. We are talking chords, Maddie. Okay, so, goodness gracious, Cyber. It's wild out there. The stimulus got everybody in a frenzy. Now, if you guys remember from a few streams ago, no, I think that was just last stream, actually. If you remember from last stream, I was playing the witchy song. I went down to this chord. The original arrangement, or the primary arrangement I had for this was going from this chord, because I feel like that preserved that kind of dark, witchy, sinister sound. But when I was playing it yesterday, I think my finger slipped, and instead of playing this chord, I played this chord. Which, in any other context outside of the witchy song, these chords after one another sound great. But within the context of the witchy song, it completely shifts the mood, and I don't know. I would love for the witchy song's mood to shift, but not there, and not like that. I don't want it to shift there, but I do like those chords, and maybe I'll. Sometimes you'll find a chord. Like, this is a chord I've been trying to use for so long. I'll let you know a few ways in which I've tried to use it. So, in the song that I'm currently making for a future quarantine, this one. There's a part in that song where I go. So there's a part in that song where I play that chord. I go. That one right there. I love this chord, and I love how I don't even know what adjective to describe that. Serious? It sounds very serious to me. I'm trying to integrate it into several songs, so that's one way in which I've one arrangement I've tried to integrate that into. There's one more song that has that chord in it, and it's Is it into the air? No, it's not there. What is that? Oh, now I'm trying to force it and I can't remember what chord actually goes there. Alright. What is it? Oh, I'm one note off. It goes. So just in general, this chord and this chord, I've been trying to work into arrangements. And the witchy song, the way I've been trying to work it into the witchy song, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick with that because it is with those like romance chords. I've been watching too many K dramas. Maybe that's my problem. Because I sat down at the piano last night and I started trying to write stuff, and it all came out as like this really flowery, like romantic. That's what I think I'm gonna blame. I'm gonna blame French Vanilla on that too. French Lavender. I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds like an Omni Boy song, but I usually don't write stuff that's just super flowery and romantic. Hi, Alvin. Hmm. I'm doing okay, Alpha. How are you doing? This song is called Winter Heart. Hello, Dark Bro. Word up, Alpha. Hi, Tommy. Oh, thank you, Cyber, for asking for likes for me. But for some reason, YouTube blocked it. Yeah, if you're in the stream, if you could like the stream, that would be super helpful for me. Thank you. one's called Wonder Heart. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was in there. The SPF 420. Wow, memories. Um. The U.S. is trying to open back up again. Alpha. 15 minutes while I was busy playing. Hello, and thank you for joining the stream. Today is Tuesday. It's trash day. It's morning medley number 118. And the song's called Double X. It was named by Liana. Oh, whoa. Bam's here. Have you been up all night? Did you not go to sleep last night? I went to sleep at noon the past couple of days, says Youngster. Oh, Jesus. I guess that's coming up pretty soon. How many pieces connected together is this by now? I think I heard 3 since I came in. I don't know. I don't really keep track of it. I usually just start improvising them. I know there are certain tracks that are kind of like that are linked. They're usually the songs come in twos, and I'll try to connect the twos to make 4, and I'll try to connect the 4s to make 8. But a song that usually comes into twos now is it's really easy for me to go from Jumping Jaybird or from Doublets into Jumping Jaybird. I didn't do that this time because I felt like it would be too predictable, but I usually can go from Doublets. How does Doublets sound? Uh, in Over and Under. That one. That song into signals. So it would go. Um, I does. What's another group in it too? Oh, I played three of them. I played. Okay, so I started with catching up. And then I went from that into key line. And then I went from that into thin air. Goodbye, cause. Thank you for being in the stream. Appreciate you. Is Uptown Says just not in the cards? Stop asking about if it's not. I just like the Latin break in it. Are you talking about live? Are you talking about me playing that live? Mmm. Oh, I love that song. I mean, sorry, I love that chord. I like this chord. Even out of context. Kind of like how I like this chord. I guess in a way they're kind of similar. And this one. That one, I think that one mentally, okay, I'm still in like a K-drama hole, so forgive me. But this chord is a very suspenseful, like, is this suspense? Guys, help me. I need adjectives. What is this? Because it makes me feel this like, oh, ew, gross. I don't know what that is. I'm getting better at scoring though. Anyway, somebody says intrigue. Happy Tuesday to you as well. And yes, intrigue sounds right. Intrigue. I love that. I can't put that in a song. Well, I mean, I can do whatever I want. But I don't really want to put that in a song. That chord, especially out of context, I feel like I can see an expression. I can see somebody looking out the window, or I can see, like, that's how it's ending. I feel like that's the last chord you play. That's not something you go into after that. You're playing a lot of, like, maybe things are happy. It's like a happy, like, love scene. But then maybe some, like, creeps watching from really far away, and it's like, that's my girlfriend. I didn't know she had it. Anyways, Gabriel, thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I didn't know Sam was in this stream. Hi, Sam. Sad Wonder. I like that. Then what is that? Then what's that? I could do this all day. What is that? If this is Sad Wonder, what is that one? Sam says, remembering. Gabriel says, heavy clouds. Dadley says, murder mystery. I'm playing a reflection pool right now because I did just notice that Kid James was in the stream. Good morning, Kid James. I used to play this song a lot more in streams. Usually at the very beginning, it was how I started streams. But Kid James was always in the streams really early, and so they would see it or hear it rather, and then they named it Reflection Pool for me. So now I know what to call it. I'm just gonna start shoving, like shoehorning that chord into all of my arrangements. It's like it completely kills whatever mood I already had going. Um, Gotta deal with some real stuff about Joe chord. Oh, now chord. Joe. I can call it the Joe chord. King Cake says, I just thought about this, but what if you add the intro part of Reflection Pool and add a part of Jaybird Jump to it? I'm not sure what that may sound like. The intro to Reflection Pool. Bing, and Jaybird is. Okay, wait, hold on a second. This might not go the way that you were thinking it would, or maybe that you were hoping it would. I don't know what you were hoping for, King Cake, but I do very much like this chord into that chord, so. I can hear after that. No. Oh my god, hold on. Hey, King Cake. I'm gonna have to hire you on as like a regional advisor for my fiddling. My fiddling around. Hold on. No. Always want to push that chord into every arrangement. It doesn't belong though. Goodbye, Thadley. Thank you for being in the stream. Oh, music's going well for you, by the way. I know I haven't been that talkative in the stream, particularly to you. I didn't realize you were here until just a few moments ago, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Thadley. And again, I hope music is going well. I hope you're staying healthy. Okay. Same one, it's just moved down. So it goes, I'm gonna switch sounds really quick. Whoa, King Cake, it actually fits in with the, like if I mix it in like that, I can actually continue to play Reflection Pool. So we'll go. Interesting. Weird, Kit. Okay, Kit, we've got king cake to thank for that one. I would have never pushed those two together. I would never push those two together because to me they're so. And I actually didn't. To be fair, king cake. I can't fit Jumpin' Jaybird, but just this chord alone, the first chord of Jumpin' Jaybird, mixes up the chord progression of the intro to Reflection Pool enough to where it's weird now. That is interesting. Wow. Hold on. Because the original, so for people that aren't as familiar with Reflection Pool, the initial intro of it was this. That was the first phase, and then I would restart and alter it. And so now it would be. So it's not even that much of a change. I'm basically replacing this chord with this chord, and I'm replacing this chord with this chord. Yes. Okay. Wow, fascinating. Okay, well, I can move on from that, but that is fun. That is fun. Back to jumping. I mean, not jumping Jaybird. Back to what was this one? The witchy song. I have to interrupt this song actually really quick to talk about today. It's Tuesday, guys. We have not named the witchy song. Kit. I mean, we've been calling it the witchy song for so long that we know what to refer it as, but it's not like an official name. Omni, if you were a furry, what would your persona be? That's so hard, Cyber, because I'm not a furry. It's almost like saying, if you were a fan of rap music, who would your favorite rapper be? When, like, you're not a rap fan, it's kind of hard to... It's hard to decide without the proper interest intact. I don't know. I don't know, Cyber. I don't know. I can honestly say that's like never a question somebody's ever asked me. People usually will say, "What is your persona?" And then when I say, "Oh, I'm not a furry," they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind." But if I said that, then somebody said, "Yeah, but if you were a furry, what would your persona be?" I don't have a prepared answer to that question. I don't even know what my options are. Really quickly, guys, it is Tuesday, and Tuesday is Quarantunes Day. Quarantunes Day. Quarantunes. No, don't try to convolute it more than it already is. It's Quarantunes that I release on Tuesday. Today, again, if you guys are in the 100th stream, you remember the song that we made in that stream, in my production stream. Tentatively titled V8. Not going to name it that, but the video of that song is getting released today. Yay! I'm going to put it up on YouTube probably around 1. Or noon? Who cares? I don't know. I feel like people get so... people get so wrapped into what's the best time to post something. Like, what's the best peak time to post on Twitter? What's the best time to post on Instagram and whatnot? People are checking their statistics and their metadata, and people are looking at their, what is it? It's a word. Not algorithm. People are looking at their, I'm just going to say metrics, but there's a fancier fun word for it. Anyways, people are checking that to see when the best time to post is, but now with the quarantine, I don't even know when the best time to post is because everybody seems to be online 24/7. So I'm just going to put it out today at some point. I wish that I could put the entire video on Instagram, but Instagram has time constraints, so I won't be able to fit the whole thing on there. But the entire video will be on Twitter and YouTube for those that are interested in it. Noon. Yes. Noon. Is that bad? Is that bad, Leona? Omni, what do you think of Playboi Carti's new single? I find it interesting and super bubbly. Beat for mainstream trap. Is Young Skirt still in here? Is Young Skirt still in here? Because Young Skirt makes really really bubbly beats, and I feel like I've been spoiled on really good bubbly beats by Young Skirt for so long that when I heard the Playboi Carti beat for the new single and saw the video, all I could think was that my friend could have like killed it. Anyways, but that's not what you're asking me. You're asking me what did I think of the new single. I do find it interesting. It is a good song. I don't know that I'm listening to it so much on my own time. But I was pleased. I was pleased with it, and I did like the beat. The beat was fun. The beat reminded me of just like my friends a lot, and like what my friends are making. So it was interesting to see something like that. And I guess mainstream trap. Sometimes it's hard, Nicholas. Sometimes it's hard to use words like that. Sometimes it's hard to use mainstream trap because I feel like even just saying bubbly beat and mainstream trap in reference to that song by Playboi Carti would have people kind of up in arms a little bit because a lot of people don't consider Playboi Carti to be mainstream trap, and I'm not even going to dig into the mountain that is bubble beats. But I as far as an answer, a straightforward answer, I did like the song. It was a good song. Sam says, before and after workday hours when you can have sound on, but who's working right now? Yeah, who's really working right now? Am I working? Is this work? Alpha says, I bet Young Thug sang Woke Up Like This after Carti released that single. Christ. I'm gonna go watch documentaries of animals since I can't go to the zoo. Word up, King Cake. It's probably a better way to appreciate the animals anyway. The zoos make me so sad. But I hope that you enjoy your documentaries. I haven't watched a documentary in a very long time. Gabriel says, I don't know if this is just me noticing now, but the lightning is making the gloves glow. The lighting, it looks really cool. Makes a stream shot look artsy. This is artsy. I'm an artist. I don't know what other E to be. I don't know what other E to be. But thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for noticing, Gabriel. It gives it a bloom effect. Is that what that's called, Gabriel? Gabriel, I just got into video editing. In fact, Gabriel, I got a notification from that GIFT. What's that spell? That video? The GIFT. What's that spell? Taco Bell. I got a notification for that video saying that I had released it a year ago. And I was like, oh my god, I've been editing videos officially for a year now. And you saying the bloom effect, there's so many things in video editing and photo editing that I don't know what they're called. I don't know the actual names for them. And something so difficult to do as an amateur video editor is Googling and trying to figure out techniques when you don't even know what they're called. Typing into Google, like, how do you make the video move? Like, just as simple as me trying to make, like, little squares of my videos move around. Like, I was like, how do you make the video move? And as you can imagine, that's just vague enough to where it didn't render any results that were helpful to me. Anyways, my favorite is The Flood by Nat Geo, says King Cake. What's your favorite, Maddie? They're talking about documentaries. A little bit of doc talk. Just some doc talk. Boy started paying his producers now. Are you sure, Alpha? Oh, I really don't want to dig into that. I didn't like Playboi Carti very specifically for a very long time. I feel like all my friends like worshipped Playboi Carti, and I couldn't stand that dude because he refused to pay his producers. And obviously, me as a producer took that very, very personally. So that's all I'll say on that, and I really want to move on because I don't want to make the stream about ethics and art. At least not today. Not today. I'm in a good mood. Oh, Gabriel says, I feel you. I think the best way to hear what other people call stuff. This is the best way to hear what other people call stuff. Yeah, you're right, Gabriel. I mean, community, that helps, right? Hearing what the terms are that other people, especially experts, are saying. I'm not even sure if that's the professional name for the effect. It may be called diffusion. It may be called diffusion. I wonder what's in the drink, says, oh my god, I can't read all of that, but I see Smitty. It starts with Smitty. What's in this that I'm drinking? Strawberries, bananas, blueberries, kiwi, watermelon. Strawberries, bananas, blueberries, kiwi, watermelon. Vanilla, non-fat frozen yogurt, apple juice. And that's it. That's all. I mean, did you join the 420 stream yesterday? Yes, I was on the 420 stream. Not the whole time. I was in there for Bowen. I was also in there for, I was in there during Girls set. I was in there during Makes You Smile set. I was in there during Abby Press's set. And the Ryan Hemsworth versus Brian Binsworth set. I was in there for, I would say, at least half of it. But I started watching TV. So I had my laptop on the coffee table and I had the stream open, but I was watching TV. So I did mute the thing after a while. I felt kind of bad, but you know, I was there in spirit, right? Thank you, Sam. I do really appreciate that because there's a lot of things that I didn't know how to do. So, for example, I didn't know. Oh, screw that. Screw that alpha. Oh crap! I don't break watch Code Gas after Anamanaguchi said. Okay. I didn't even know there was a 420 stream. It's okay, Maddie. It's okay. There's always going to be a stream. There's always going to be another stream. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. You know when somebody's moving around in a video and the video seems to be like locked onto their face or whatever? Now, I know that that's like an auto effect that you can do in After Effects. Like After Effects has like a built-in like algorithm where you could just be like track to face and then it'll like track somebody's face. Unfortunately, I'm using like a janky program. Well, unfortunately and fortunately, I will say, I'm using a janky program where that's not a thing. The reason that I do like that, though, is because I've had to track things frame by frame, like center something, image, and then click a frame, advance frame, and then like make sure that image is centered again, and then advance a frame, and then make sure that image is centered again. And just going through it frame by frame until the whole video does have a tracking feel to it. That's a new thing for me. And one, I didn't know what that was called in order to Google it and figure out how to do it. And two, I didn't know if it was even possible in my program. But just small things. I feel like each video that I make, I'm getting a little bit better. Where it just used to be, if you've seen that video, if you want to see that video, it's called GIFT on my YouTube or whatever. But if you care, if you go look at that video, it's interesting because back then, yeah, I was just then learning how to like make videos move around the canvas. I don't even know what you call it, but around the canvas. I was just then learning how to make that happen. But there isn't like colorful text. There isn't borders on videos. I started putting borders around all of my videos just to make them look a little bit more clean. I started reusing the same font over and over, so there was an air of consistency. I started putting like a plane, like a color plane behind the font so that it wasn't clashing with the background. I started doing very small, gradual things, and I feel like in the year that I've been making videos, granted I haven't made a bunch of videos, but in the year of just like doing it in my free time, I finally do see some growth in video editing. So yeah, I'm an amateur for sure, and I don't know what half the things are and what they do and what they're called, but I am improving ever so slightly. Leona says, I saw parts of it when I came out, but I watched the whole thing from the beginning now. Oh my god. You're gonna watch all of it? Shouts out to you, Leona. You are a greater person than I am. Maddie says video editing is beyond them. I once almost crashed my laptop just trying to edit together a stop motion animation. I mean, my laptop chugs when I try to like play back stuff. I usually have to export stuff if I want to see it smooth. I live outside of Atlanta, says Cyber, and I know next to nothing about the trap scene other than that typical syncopation of a hit and the general style of verses. Word up, Cyber. Um, I live in California and I don't know anything about surfing. Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's my analogy. I'm just choosing to die on today. Frame by frame is fair, but I think most programs allow you to tween something over a track. I don't know what tweening things means. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, Gabriel. Went right over my head. Cyber says, I think most legitimate trap, i.e., trap that doesn't try to meld with something else, doesn't interest me, says Cyber. I'm gonna pull us out of that hole, the trap hole, and say something a little vague, but I think all-encompassing. I don't like most. Ooh, okay. Alright. I don't like most. I've found that the purer, is that a word? Is pure. The more pure something is, the less I like it. Now, I realize that can be taken a lot of different ways. What I'm saying is mixing and combining and convoluting and conflating to a certain degree improves things in my eyes, right? So if somebody's like, I have a, if we're talking about music, which Cyber was, and if we're talking about music, somebody's like, hey, Omni, here's my polka band. I like polka, so that is a bad example. But I'll say I do like polka. But if somebody was like, this is my polka salsa band, while it may be weird and it may be an acquired taste, I will be more interested in that thing. It'll garner my interest more. I was talking about this with someone recently when I was talking about house music. House music I don't actually find enjoyable. Like core roots, like iconic house music, I don't enjoy house music. Now, disco house, you know, I like that. Bass house can be fun. Like funk house. There's a lot of house subgenres that are very enjoyable to me because they have some element of fusion. Same thing goes for food. Usually, and I felt like a cultureless swine sometimes when this happens. I will have a more authentic version of the food, the most authentic, you know, like from the roots. Like I'll be in like the south of France and I'm having the things from there. I won't like it as much as I like this kind of permutation of it that is mixed in with a lot of other things. Most things, especially here in the United States, are just that. Usually when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you're not just getting Mexican food. And usually when you go to even like a Chinese restaurant or a Japanese restaurant out here, you're not just getting Chinese food or you're just getting Japanese food. There are a lot of places that, for example, Tenrens. Tenrens is a Taiwanese restaurant. Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze, but I guess it's not going to come. Tenrens is a Taiwanese restaurant, but inside of Tenren, you can get ramen, which you and I both know is not Taiwanese. You could also get udon there. There's like a lot of things that kind of mixed in. It's not going to taste exactly like the ramen from a traditional Japanese restaurant, but you can get ramen there, and maybe there will be something about it that you do like and something that you don't like. I'm not going to stretch this out any longer. I'm just going to say, fusion usually for me is good. In general. I mean, sometimes it'll give you some unfavorable flavors or whatever moods or aesthetic, but I generally like things to be mixed together, and so Cyber's saying that they don't really like trap typically in its chorus sense. I get that, you know? But having it mixed with things can be fun. I think I'm way back out of sync with the stream, says Sam, but most effects are just stacked manual effects. Kind of like how modern synth sounds are stacked layers of multiple sounds, so a lot can be built. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense, Sam. And sometimes I prefer to build them myself so that I can actually understand the inner workings. So while having After Effects would be very helpful and fast to me because I could just auto track things to my face, I think it's more useful for me to actually understand what's going on in that. So I like the way I'm doing it right now. Now, I won't always maybe want to, and it'll be nice down the line to be able to save some time or maybe some effort by using these kind of built-in prefabricated effects. But I do like that I'm learning how they exist now. For example, there's a thing called ping pong delay, which Sam, I know you're very familiar with. I used to build ping pong delay myself just by cloning or copy and pasting a waveform and having one pan to the right and one pan to the left, and I would like create my own delays because working an actual delay VST was very confusing and too advanced for me. Liana says, I'm in love with the cocoa. Is so much better mixed with literally anything else. I feel you, Liana. I feel you. There's an African Japanese fusion restaurant here in Atlanta. Not sure if it's still around. I hope it is, for their sake. Right now, Gabriel says there's a there's lo-fi hip hop, which I love. I think rap can be a really interesting tool for a piece, especially when it comes from the heart and talks about something interesting. Word up, Gabriel. I agree with this. Is Russian sushi a thing? Says King Cake. Probably. Sam says I like it when fusion becomes a pure kind of how the music genre becomes something else once they pick up in Japan. Yeah, this is true. I do like that. This isn't shots, but I was like, this is not shots. It's gonna sound like it is because I know my voice typically makes things sound like they're insults. But somebody was talking to me about like Korea being like ahead of the world in fashion and how they're like setting all the trends, and I was like, I don't see that because every time I look at what is like the trendy new fashion in Korea, it just looks like what was trendy in America like 30 years ago. And so I feel like even that, like something being becoming its own defined thing, but having to take in a bunch of inspiration from other things does make it good. We can't like as a people argue against that point because so many things that employ fusion. I mean, K-pop in itself, which is like a huge like media force right now, is nothing but fusion. You can't listen to like a popular K-pop track without hearing elements of like EDM and jazz and trap music. Since we were talking about trap music, like I feel like every K-pop like fabricated hit has like a trap break in it where like the rapper of the group starts rapping. It's all fusion. That's all it is. They'll even start saying words in Spanish, saying words in English. It's just everything is just fusion. Everything that I guess is improved usually. I mean, we can't all be good at everything. You have to take good things from everybody else and make a super group, right? Nicholas says Korea is all fast fashion inspired by hip hop. Sure. For sure. I think Korean fashion is just old air black fashion. All right. Well, see, now we're getting spicy. I don't want to go there, Alpha. Yeah, you're right, but I don't want to go there. Not in this stream. I'm in a good mood. I remember once this Japanese guy at my school came up to me, says Alpha, and asked how to get dreadlocks after seeing my twists. Oh, it's happened to all of us, Alpha. Mm, mm, mm. It's happened to all of us. A lot of American producers produce for K-pop groups, right? This is very true, Liana. A lot of Swedish ones as well. A lot of European and American artists are usually flown out to be a part of K-pop writers' camps. It's very, very, they're paid very well. I mean, if you're interested in that, definitely research it. It's amazing. It's amazing how well they take care of those producers. I don't know how royalties and splits work, but they are paid handsomely for their work at the moment. Okay, so the news. Hold on. It's so. It's very, very good. Okay. Pay is very controversial, says Dark Bro. Yes, it is. In every aspect of the world. Gabriel says, I think the reason why sometimes the purest version of something isn't the best is because sometimes they focus too much on making the genre and not making music. Ugh, Gabriel. Couldn't have said it better myself. Nicholas says, wasn't Pharrell over there working with G Dragon at some point? Pharrell was over there working with G Dragon at some point. You're absolutely correct, Nicholas. The best version of a specific genre are ones where making the music came first. You're right, Gabriel. We can even take this and we can personalize it, Gabriel, and say that sometimes artists make their best music when they're just simply trying to make music. If you listen... Oh, goodbye, Smitty. Bye. Thanks for being on the stream. Appreciate you. Listen. If you're an artist and you're just trying to make music, if you listen to my discography, not all of it, I don't want to try to torture any of you. It's a very long discography. But if you just listen to bits and pieces of it from back in 2014, 2015, 2016, I was forcing something. Now, I don't like saying that. I think a lot of artists are very sensitive and don't really like to admit when they were wrong or admit when they were jealous or admit when they were in any way seen in a negative light. So it's not something that I was comfortable admitting up until maybe a year ago. But in 2015, 2016, I was very much trying to do a thing. I was forcing a thing. And I was able to get some good music out of it. But sometimes I would make a song that didn't neatly fit in this kind of cute, fun, bubbly, Japanese-inspired, anime-sampled music. There was a lot of times where my music wouldn't just neatly fit into there. And when it wouldn't neatly fit into there, I would keep, like, forcing it to. I'm like, oh, maybe I can put, like, a Sailor Moon sample in there, or maybe I can get, like, one of my friends to do some, like, cutesy vocals. I'll throw in a dog bark here, throw in some birds chirping there, make it bubbly, you know. I would force it. And at around 2017, some stuff happened in my life, and I kind of said, whatever, I'm just going to make music now. And there was a pretty dramatic shift in 2017 to the stuff that I was not necessarily making, but the stuff that I was sharing with people, the stuff that I was putting out there. It wasn't always super bubbly and fun. It wasn't always really poppy and danceable. Sometimes, i.e., Daydream or even Ego Death. Sometimes it was sadder and less energetic, I suppose. Anyways, yeah, I think that's true about all things. Not only just music, not just food, not dance, art, and even people. If you focus on just making the thing, you lose sight of all the stuff that you're missing, right? You know, very vague. Very vague words I'm using now. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let me get to the bottom of the chat really quick. King Cake says, I once saw a song that was a Korean rap, hip-hop, or K-pop that talked about how people in Korea or Japan are more focused on working than partying and stuff. Well, sure. Work culture in Japan is pretty extreme. I don't really know about Korea because I haven't spent an extended amount of time in Korea. But, yeah, Japan, this is very true. It felt controversial, so I'm just getting agitated by a song I don't even understand. Says King Cake. BTS is just an outdated NSYNC boy band. Yes, they do have their own styles, but it's the producers repeating the cycle, says Dark Row, which is pretty hot take. I agree with you, Gabriel, that is more true to your heart when you just try to make what you want to make instead of trying to focus on a specific genre or key demographic that you want to hit. Dark Row goes on to say that also, is that song you're describing Sugar Glider? I wasn't describing a specific song, Dark Row. I was describing all of my music back then. So Sugar Glider could be applicable to that, as could, I don't know, Midnight Drift 1 or Bon Bon or Jolly Pop. Any of those. Some sort of compare and contrast with Koreans' ethnic styles with other country styles, says King Cake. Nicholas says, I feel like I was that way with my art for a long time, trying to make it look like anime and manga instead of letting it happen naturally. Yes, we've all fallen into that hole. It's a very slippery slope, but some of us do get out of it, and that's good. I had a whole crisis, says Maddie, about that with my art in school. I was trying to force it to be something I thought it should be. Wow, this turned out to be a really therapeutic stream at the very end. Do you have your art posted anywhere, Maddie? Says Cyber. Maddie's got an Instagram. Sam says, I call that forcing your music. trend chasing, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's a good way to restrain yourself to get some good creativity, or genre chasing. I think I think I think you I mean good can be taken out of anything, right? Almost anything. Almost anything you can extract some good out of it. So, one school of thought is that three schools of thought. Three schools of thought, and then I do need to move on because this is good. Because this could turn into like a 3-hour stream if I stay here for too long. Oh my God, Dark Row just says all pop music sounds the same. I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch that, Dark Row. I'm not gonna touch it. But my three schools of thought are one, where it's a good thing. It's good that I forced my music to sound cutesy and anime because I did benefit from it, right? Most of the fans, well, I won't say most of the fans I have today, but a lot of the fans that I have today come from that era of my music. And if I hadn't forced it, maybe they would have never found my music because maybe they were somebody that only listens to cute anime bubbly tunes. So there is some good to be taken from it. Also, I got really good at making that type of music. So even today, if I wanted to or needed to or was commissioned to or paid to or required to make that type of music, I have the built-in skill set to do it because I just hammered that horse to death. That's a good thing that came out of that. A bad thing that came out of that is I wasn't being completely honest with myself as an artist. And while that would have been nice if I was being paid for all that music was completely free. So it's not like I was benefiting from it. I was kind of just stifling myself in order to stay loyal to a fan base I felt indebted to. And then a more ambivalent and kind of maybe apathetic take on it is maybe I wasn't ready to make the music I'm making now back then anyway. Maybe I wanted to, but maybe I needed to stay there. It's more like a faked take, right? Maybe I needed to be making anime music for 2 or 3 years before I was ready to move on to something else, and more confident in my skills to do so. I don't know, but those are three different schools of thought on, I guess, genre chasing and kind of forcing your music to be in one sound. Whew, okay. Alpha just says modern pop music is terrible. I'm not going to touch that either. We don't have enough time in the day. Please bring back the cutes, says Liana. Are you talking about my music, Liana? Darker says all radio pop songs sound the same. I hope that sorts it out. It doesn't, but I hear where you're coming from, Dargo. I hear where you're coming from, and there are many valid points inside what you just said. There are, and I will leave it at that. Maddie says it's true. I first found your music through those cutesy tracks. I believe this. King Cake says I have a variety of styles, just me trying to learn every style since I'm extremely determined with art. I feel you, King Cake. I feel the same way. Gabriel says you could also say that doing something, even when it is outside your comfort zone, not true, you learn from it, and it makes you grow by figuring out how to make it true. This is true also, Gabriel. That's why I can't get into the Tyler Creator's new stuff because it's trying to make pop, says Alpha. Ooh, now that's one I'm definitely not going to touch. King Cake says, Tyler the Creator's Earthquake song was extremely nice. It felt like a real earthquake through music. Oh, that's an interesting take. Well, I hope that was the achieved result of naming a song Earthquake. Cyber says, there have been some hot takes in the end of the stream. Yeah, I'm not touching any of them, Cyber. I'm steering well clear of them. Alpha says Earthquake is good, but I'm still for mixtape vibes. We never got Earl and Wolf. Oh, where Earl Wolf? True. It never happened. Kind of like that the Childish Gambino and Chance the Rapper album never happened. No. Cyber says, you know what's really hot though? Dropping a like on the stream. Oh, I appreciate that, Cyber. Yeah, we gotta get them likes in when we can. Yeah. I will never participate in the spicy stream because I think that as an artist, here's why. I'm not ignoring Alpha and I'm not ignoring Dark Row at all. In fact, I appreciate their input into the stream. However, as a member of the music industry, music scene, whatever you want to call it, as a very, very as a very active member of the music world, I'll say. there is so much nuance that is inside of the things that you all are saying. All pop music sounds the same. All radio pop music sounds the same. All the things that you guys are saying are like Tyler the Creator's new album was trying to be pop. All these things that you're saying have so much nuance in them that I feel like we being my face on screen and an active chat is not equipped to break down. Not in the time that we have left. That would be an entire stream. We would have to go, this is stream number 119, and I'm going to break down what pop music is, why it sounds the way it is, why people hate it, why these songs get played on the radio versus these songs not getting played on. I could do it all, but I don't have the time to do it right now. So I feel like if I address what you guys are saying right now, what came out of my mouth would be an oversimplification of the problem, and it would be irresponsible and misleading for me to say that. And that's why I'm not touching some of these hot takes at the very end of the stream. Darkro says, have you ever just played around with your keyboard hitting random notes and somehow come up with a song? That's how all of my songs happen, Darkro. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. That's why I learned how to play keyboard, Darkro. So yeah, sometimes I just like... A lot of the... I mean, you were in the stream, Darkro. Remember when I hit this? And I was confused and I didn't know what it was? Oh wait, hold on. It sounds better with the piano sound on it. I love that. Also this one. That one, the weird I'm calling it the K-drama chord, but the weird K-drama chord, that was a mistake. These are all mistakes, Darkro. I have no idea what's going on here. Gabriel says, do you have any oh my god. Okay, alright. I'm only gonna address questions now, because we do need to start cutting it down. If you had a question now, oh crap. Please re-ask it, because I'm not going to scroll up now. Things got scrolled really quickly for some reason. I was too busy getting my masters loud, says Enigma. Well, I hope you got them sufficiently loud enough. It makes sense that you want to avoid it. It makes more sense to avoid it than the other choice, says King Cake. Word. I would gladly delve into one of those on a stream, guys. We would just need way more time for me to do it. Because I think every hot take in the world is like when you have you guys ever taken a book and in Barnes and Noble or whatever, and you flipped it over to the back to read the synopsis? Like they'll have maybe a little synopsis. It's usually like 4 or 5 sentences to try to sum up this entire 500-page book, and you'll read the synopsis and you'll go, that doesn't really sound like it's for me. Now, there are probably going to be things for you in that book. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that, but there's probably going to be things for you in that book. But those things are small enough that they didn't make the synopsis. There's been a lot of times where somebody said, hey, Omni, you should watch this anime, or hey, Omni, you should watch this movie, or hey, Omni, you should play this game. And the game, movie, anime, whatever, does not look like it's for me. Doesn't look good for me. But if I play it, I will be able to find something in there that I do enjoy. If I bought a Switch today and I bought Animal Crossing, even though most of that game would be very unenjoyable for me, there has to be something in there, even if it's something as innocuous as a color or a pattern that I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope, that sounds like me, that looks like me. Something is in there for me. There just isn't enough in there for me to buy it because it costs money. So, that being said, usually when there's a hot take, there's a lot of stuff weighted underneath that hot take that can go either way. It's way more ambivalent than it's being presented. And so I would love to break into one of somebody's, chat hot takes in a stream. But it would take about 30 minutes in order to get to the bottom of it. I'm against synopsis, says Gabriel. In general, they're really bad. The exception is more important than the concept. The execution, sorry, I misread. The execution is more important than the concept. You're absolutely right, Gabriel. You're absolutely right. There's been a lot of times where I have somebody has described a show to me. Someone has described the premise of Ozark to me, or of Breaking Bad to me, or of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to me. Somebody has said what the show's about, and I've thought, that sounds stupid. but I've seen overwhelming reviews for the thing. People seem to love the thing, so I'll give it a shot. And then I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But I totally understand why you couldn't explain to me why it was good. There's just things that kind of you can't explain, or things that you can explain but just don't. They fail to communicate what the execution would, as you said, Gabriel. Enigma says, "Hey Omni, music question. What's the average LUFS of your tracks?" I don't know. That's not really something. That's not something I. Oof. What's the word? I wanted to say care about, but that's not true that I don't care about it. It's just not something that I. Place importance on. If anything, Enigma, I would say that my music is pretty quiet. I would say my music scales quieter than your typical SoundCloud producer. I feel like music. Oh no, oh no. I'm not going to go into this, Enigma, but I'm going to say this one statement on it, and then I do really, really, really have to move on. Music, as we all know, we all big music producers, has increased in volume gradually over the years. It has gotten louder and louder and louder and louder and more and more and more compressed. And people have been trying to get louder, but somehow maintain dynamics. Get louder, but maintain dynamics. It's like a struggle between volume and dynamics. And I feel like I followed them up into a certain volume, and then I kind of just stayed here. And music got louder because I started thinking about it, and I was like, I get why some music is loud. I get why radio hits are loud. I get why EDM is loud. I get why hip hop tracks can be loud, because people want the like force of gain and the force of volume. And I feel like my music, that's not really where I'm placing the importance in my songs and the emphasis. The emphasis is more on like chord selection and narrative. And if you listen to like old, I don't know, jazz records or old classical records, they're not very loud. Mostly because we didn't have the technology to make them that loud back then, but also I feel like it doesn't make the song sound worse by comparison. Darko says, what's your take on ASMR, Omni? I'm not somebody that gets pleasure from ASMR, so I don't like look up ASMR videos. I get that other people like it, but it doesn't do anything for me. That's my take on ASMR. Darko. Okay. Getting to the bottom, getting to the bottom, getting to the bottom. King Cake needs to go. Goodbye, King Cake. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow for stream number 119. Enigma says, tracks often get remixed and mastered in order to stand out best on the average radio. Yes, true. This is a true thing. Okay. We're going to go over a little bit of news. Cloudless made it super late. You sure did. You're lucky I'm running later. You wouldn't have made it at all, but I'm glad that you made it into the stream. I'm glad to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, Cloudless, and I hope that I see you in tomorrow's stream number 119 a little bit earlier. For as far as news, I have a new song out called The View. I was supposed to play it in the stream, but I just got distracted. It's on a body of work called Lazarus by Attack the Music. I supplied one of the tracks. Also, as far as EPs, albums, stuff like that, like music, I did put out 2 EPs. One is called Ego Death, the other one is called Quick Breath. Please give it a listen if you have a chance. I worked with Elena Fortune on the covers to both of them. In fact, if you take the Ego Death cover and you take the Quick Breath cover and you put them together, they make a complete image. They're like 2 halves of a whole. They can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Crew, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. Since I already have you guys on YouTube, you can check out some of the videos that I've made for my songs. I have a video for Beneath the City, Into Thin Air. Never gonna stop confusing those 2. And also, there's a video that I shot for Hush Hour. If you've also been paying attention to the Quarantine series, every Tuesday I put up a new song that I made in quarantine, and I accompany it with a little video that I shot and edited myself around my room. The first one was called Honeydew, the second one was called French Lavender, and the third one was called Home Is You, and the fourth one comes out today. And I made it in the 100th stream. So if you were in the 100th stream, you saw me make that song. But it comes out today around noon. Um, as far as shows and tours and merch and all of that, like career stuff, I am holding back on that. Um, I feel like day to day things seem to either be getting a lot worse or things seem to be getting a lot better, and so I just don't really know what to do career wise. So I'm just kind of holding back, and I'm sticking to the quarantine series and the streams. Those are kind of like my two major outputs. But I am still working on new music. I feature it sometimes in my Instagram story. It's like housey stuff right now, like that disco house stuff. Okay. I think that covers all the news. But yeah, a new video going up today. So stay tuned for that. Oh crap! The Final Fantasy VII remake is out. I forgot about it. Again. I'll play it. Eventually. I thought about it because Cloud was Cloud. You know what's weird? Sometimes when I play piano and I listen to myself play it back, like I watch a video of myself playing, that's the only time I'm able to like listen to my playing without a bias. And I'm like, oh, that actually sounds pretty good. I'm actually okay at piano. Sometimes when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my hands, I'm not hearing it fully. I'm feeling it, which is, I don't know how to describe that as a musician, but when you're playing an instrument, half of you is hearing what you're playing, but I would argue a greater half of you is making it happen. And it it impedes some of your ability to like listen to it and hear it as music. You know, it's like making a sandwich versus somebody bringing out a sandwich on a platter to you. It's a different experience. Okay. Um. Yeah. I'm gonna shave eventually. I don't know when, but eventually. Maybe I'll make a song about it. Maddie wants everybody to have a Twisty Tuesday. Thank you everybody for being respectful to me and polite to each other. Never not grateful for that. You guys are great. I will get this video uploaded and released. And then I'm gonna spend the rest of my day just chilling. I mean, I don't really know what else to do. I'm gonna go get some pizza, I think, because it's Tuesday and Tuesday is my pizza day. So I'm probably gonna go get some pizza and just general like stay out of trouble. Thank you again, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. Please enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you here on Wednesday for Morning Medley number 119. Abo.